Hello everyone, this is part 2 of What If Naruto Didn't Spend His Birthday Alone, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Naruto ran after Hinata as fast as he could. He couldn't understand why she was running away. She did a great job of defending herself, or rather him. He saw her trip in at the edge of the training grounds. He ran up to her and squatted down next to her. "Hey, Hinata, what's wrong?" he said, his voice gentle and reassuring. She looked up at him, her face still had tears running down it. Naruto took his sleeve and wiped the tears away. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun," she said in between sniffs. "I just couldn't stay there anymore. I was so angry at my father for saying those awful things. I must apologize to you on his behalf." "Don't worry about Hinata," Naruto said with a small smile. "I'm used to people calling me a monster. Your father isn't any different from the rest of the adults. That doesn't make it okay." Hinata yelled back. She covered her mouth, not meaning to yell. I'm sorry." Naruto looked at her in surprise. First of all, he had never heard her yell before. He stated to chuckle. "Arigato, Hinata." He pulled her into a hug. "Thanks for caring so much." Hinata blushed a little, then hugged him back. But what am I going to do? I don't really want to go back home, because I'm just going to end up arguing with my father again." That is a problem." Naruto thought for a moment, then said, "Why don't you hang out at my place, until you feel ready to confront your father again?" Hinata blushed. She had been to Naruto's house before, many times actually. But it was a bit different now. Hi, if you don't mind having me, Naruto-kun. Why on earth would I mind having you at my house? Naruto said with a puzzled look on his face. Once they got to Naruto's apartment, Hinata began to blush a little. She was still a little embarrassed. Naruto opened the door to his apartment, and inside was a huge mess. Naruto looked back at Hinata, who was laughing softly to herself. Naruto blushed a bit and scratched the back of his head. "Yeah, sir, I forgot to clean, okay?" he said, still a bit red. Hinata was still laughing a bit. "Would you like me to help you clean, Naruto-kun?" she said. "I kinda feel bad, but if you want to, you could help me." "I don't mind at all, Naruto-kun," she said, still slightly laughing. So they both set to work. Naruto picked up all his dirty clothes, while Hinata began to clean the kitchen. In about 2 hours they were done. There was a lot to clean. They both plopped down on Naruto's bed when they were done. "Thanks a lot, Hinata, that really helped," Naruto said, turning on his side to look at her. "My apartment never looked better, and I think it got bigger," he said, laughing a bit. Hinata joined him in laughing, and also turned on her side to face him. "Don't worry about it, Naruto-kun," she said. They sat there looking into each other's eyes for a while. "I'm sorry, most of you are probably sick of them doing this." Naruto scooted closer and brushed a few stray strands of hair from her face. His hand lingered there for a moment, and then he scooted a bit closer. He leaned in and their lips met. Naruto cradled her face in one hand, and slowly removed it and pulled her closer to him. Hinata turned a reddish color. She was a little surprised at what was going on, but she seemed to enjoy it. She put her arms around his neck. They continued to kiss until Hinata broke away. She couldn't breathe, and she was getting a bit uncomfortable. Naruto was also blushing now. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that," he said. Hinata looked away and turned a darker red. It's okay, Naruto-kun, I just was a bit uncomfortable." Her blush darkened. I was a bit too," he confessed, "but I kinda liked it, so I didn't stop," he said, turning a darker red. "Crap, that was weird, wasn't it? You probably think I'm a pervert or something." Hinata looked at him. She could see how he was really embarrassed. She began to laugh. "It's okay, Naruto-kun." She continued to laugh, then she said softly, "I kinda have enjoyed it too." She didn't expect Naruto to hear this, but of course he did. He stopped laughing for a little bit. Then when he saw how dark Hinata's blush was, he started laughing again. He pulled her into a hug, still laughing. What would I do without you, Hinata? He said. Hinata laughed, not knowing how to answer. Naruto continued to laugh. Soon they both sat up and leaned against the wall. Hinata had her head against Naruto's shoulder. It was around lunch time, and Naruto's stomach began to growl. Hinata laughed and got up to make some lunch. You don't have to, Hinata. I can make my own lunch. Naruto said, getting up as well. No, I don't mind, you're letting me stay here, so making you lunch is the least I could do. She said with a smile. I'm afraid I don't have much selection of food though. Naruto said, walking into the kitchen. Hinata followed. He was right, he didn't have much. Hinata looked over what she had to work with. It wouldn't be spectacular, but she could make something. Okay, this will have to do, she said. She started to boil some rice, and filled a pan with oil. Naruto sat on the counter and watched in amazement as she turned what looked like nothing into a fantastic-looking meal. In about a half hour it was done. Wow, Naruto said in amazement. It looks great. He began to eat. Before Hinata ate her share, she wanted Naruto to tell her if the cooking was good enough. She sat patiently as Naruto ate a bit of everything. Finally he looked at her. This is fantastic, Hinata. Thanks so much, it hits the spot. Hinata's face lit up and she tried her cooking. It was pretty good, she could have done better. It didn't matter, if Naruto liked it, it was okay. They ate peacefully and cleaned up. Soon it was about 4 o'clock. They both sat on the floor and played cards, talked and watched TV. I don't know if they have TVs. Anyway, they do now. Soon Hinata fell asleep next to Naruto. He smiled at her. She looked so cute when she was asleep, he thought. He gently nugged her. N.E. Hinata, he said in her ear. She opened her eyes sleepily, and sat up. Huh, did I fall asleep? She asked. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, I just couldn't keep my eyes up. She yawned and covered her mouth. Naruto smiled. Don't worry about it, if you were tired you should have told me. You can go to sleep in my bed tonight, I'll sleep on the floor. He said, helping her off the floor. Oh no, Naruto-kun, I can't. Naruto held up his hand to silence her. I don't want to hear it, you take the bed and I'm going to sleep on the floor, and that's that. Naruto walked into the bathroom, and then called, I'll let you get changed, I can change in here. Hinata blushed a little bit. It didn't feel right if she took Naruto's bed and he slept on the floor. He was very stern, that he wanted it this way, so she didn't complain any further. She began to take off her clothes, until she wore a short spaghetti strap shirt and her pants, those training ones, that fit tightly. She felt a bit embarrassed by how much she was reveled. Naruto walked out in a black shirt and a pair of shorts. He went and found an extra blanket and pillow and laid them on the floor. Okay, are you all set? He said, turning to Hinata. Hi. She replied. She started to blush a bit. Naruto walked over to her, and pulled her into his arms. I love you, Hinata, he said. I know I've said it a lot already, but I really mean it. I know, Naruto-kun, Hinata said, giving a slight smile. And I love you too. He held her a bit longer, then he kissed her cheek and walked over to turn off the lights. Good night, Hinata, he said. Hinata climbed into bed and pulled the covers up. Good night, Naruto-kun, she said. He walked over to his spot on the floor and pulled the blanket up, and soon they were both sound asleep. Naruto awoke in the early afternoon, around 11 or 12. He stumbled into the kitchen and took out some milk and poured a glass. He looked around and noticed that everything was very clean. His bed was made, there were no dirty dishes, and there were no clothes on his floor. Then he remembered that Hinata had stayed over for the night. But where was she now? Hinata, he called. There was no answer. He looked around the kitchen and noticed a small breakfast on the table. There was a note right beside it. It read, Dear Naruto, I was hoping to tell you this before you woke up, but since it's already about 10:30 and I need to leave, I guess that won't happen. So a note will have to do. I have gone to see if I can talk to my father. I know he is wrong and I want him to see things my way. I'm almost 18, he shouldn't treat me like such a child. Oh dear, I'm getting a bit off track here, sorry. Well, I thank you for allowing me to stay at your house. I hope I can repay you a little by leaving you some breakfast. I hope it doesn't go cold. Anyway, I will come by again to tell you what happens. Love, Hinata. Naruto smiled softly while reading the letter, and looked over at the breakfast. She really was to niece. He sat down and ate the breakfast. He got ready for the day and decided to go for a walk and do some training. It was a really nice day out today. He walked over to the training grounds and practiced his kunai, SP. Throw. He did that for an hour or so, then he decided to take a walk. He just wandered around and enjoyed the weather. He was about to head home to wait for Hinata when he heard something that sounded like crying. He looked around but he couldn't see anyone. He began to walk away when he heard it again. This time he heard where it was coming from. He ran towards the noise. He looked around the trees, until he spotted someone sitting up against a tree. He walked over to them and looked at their face. It was Hinata. Hinata, Naruto said, sounding surprised and confused. What are you doing here? What? Naruto-kun, she said, trying to wipe away her tears. What are you doing here? He squatted down next to her, and took his sleeve to wipe away her tears. Never mind what I'm going here, what's the matter? He asked. I thought you were going to talk to your father. Oh, I did. Oh, I see, what did that bastard say to you? He said angrily. Oh, he didn't say much, Naruto-kun. Yeah right, like him going to believe that, you're crying, and he didn't say anything. Well, I told him that he was overreacting about this whole ordeal. I told him that there was no way that you were a demon, and how heroic and brave you were. He still didn't believe me. He just refused to listen to me. She looked down at the ground. He finally told me that he was sick of disobedient children, and that if I wanted to live under the same roof as him, I would have to follow his rules. Well, that doesn't sound so bad, Naruto said. Hinata shook her head. When I asked him what his rules were, he laughed and said I can't see you anymore or even make contact with you. I of course said I couldn't do that. So he said he wouldn't let me in his house anymore. Naruto looked at her in shock, then he noticed a bag next to her. He kicked you out, Naruto said. For how long? As long as I still see you, Hinata said, her eyes filling with tears again. Naruto pulled her into a hug. I don't want you suffering or get in trouble on account of me, he said. Thank you, Naruto-kun, but I think my father is wrong, and I'll do whatever it takes to prove him wrong and get my point across, she said firmly. Well, you sound more confident every day now. Naruto laughed. I suppose so. Hinata laughed with a small blush across her face. But what am I going to do about shelter? Naruto smiled. I know the perfect place. He snickered. Really? Hinata said excitedly. Yup. You can stay at my place. Hinata looked a bit taken back. But Naruto-kun, I couldn't. I don't want to intrude. No, don't say that. I love having you over. My house always looks cleaner and I enjoy the meals you cook me, he said, blushing a bit. Well, I suppose if you think it's not too much trouble, Hinata said, but I won't have you sleep on the floor, like last night. Naruto sighed. Well, what do you suggest we do then? He said. Well, Hinata looked for a solution, but every time she thought it came to only one solution. Naruto came to the same solution. They both blushed at the thought. Hinata began to panic a little and blush madly. Don't worry, we'll think about it later, for now let's just get some lunch. Hinata nodded, glad to get the topic away for the time being. Hinata made lunch for the both of them, then they went out and trained together. Before they knew it, it had gotten to be around 10 p.m. As they walked home, they didn't mention their situation at all. In fact, they tried not to even think about. Then when they finally entered Naruto's apartment, it was inevitable. Hinata made him a quick dinner and they discussed the matter then. Well, it comes to about one or two things, one being we both sleep in the bed, and two, you let me sleep on the floor. Naruto said. I don't want you to sleep on the floor, Hinata said, but she wasn't sure if she was comfortable with Naruto sleeping in the same bed as her. She thought hard about another idea. I could sleep on the floor, she offered. Naruto immediately shook his head. Don't even think about it, he said. There's not a chance in hell that I'm letting you sleep on the floor. I thought I said that last night. Hinata nodded. By this time they had both finished their dinner. Naruto stood up. I'll clean up the kitchen, why don't you go take a shower and change? Hinata nodded and left, thinking of another way. When she came up, Naruto had already changed into his pajamas and was putting his coat into his closet. Did you think of anything? Naruto asked, leaning against the wall and looking at Hinata. She shook her head. Naruto sighed. I don't mind sharing a bed with you, I won't try anything. But I know that you won't feel very comfortable. So we need to come up with something. Hinata looked at him, she considered sharing the bed again, and she thought about it. She thought hard and made her decision. We can try it, she said very softly. Naruto looked at her a bit surprised. Are you sure? He asked. Hinata nodded a bit hesitantly. You don't have to if you don't want to. He said, trying to reassure her. She shook her head. It's okay, I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? She said, a smile on her face. Naruto smiled at her, he walked over to her and gave her a hug. I'm glad you're staying here, Hinata. He said. Me too, Naruto-kun. She replied. So now that that was decided, a huge weight lifted from Naruto and Hinata's shoulders. They relaxed and watched TV together until they were tired. Hinata headed to bed first. Naruto went to lock the door and turn off the lights. He sat down on the side of the bed. Are you sure about this? He asked one more time. Hinata didn't answer for a while. Naruto got a bit worried, he was kind of looking forward to this. Hinata. He heard her giggle. Don't worry, Naruto-kun. I'm plenty sure. Naruto smiled and climbed into the bed as well. It seemed like there was less room than they thought. Since Naruto had a double bed, only big enough for one person, I think that's a double, correct me if I'm wrong, they were a little squished, and uncomfortable. They just laid there for a while, neither one saying a word. Finally Naruto spoke up. Are you very comfortable? He asked. Oh yes, plenty comfortable. Hinata said. He knew she was lying. Liar. He said. Hinata sighed. You could tell. Of course I could tell, I don't think anyone would be comfortable in this situation. Hinata laughed a little. May I? Naruto asked. Hinata could tell that he meant make it so they could both fit comfortably on the bed. Hinata nodded. She began to blush as Naruto moved. Hinata, do you mind if I put my arms around you? I won't try anything. He said. Hinata nodded. She moved closer to him and he wrapped his arms around her. She moved into a comfortable position and then rested her head slightly on Naruto's chest. She blushed a bit. Are you comfortable, Naruto-kun? She asked. Very comfortable. He said, giving her a slight squeeze. Good. She said with a sigh. Having his arms around her made her feel very safe and she soon fell asleep. Naruto heard her breathing change and he knew she had fallen asleep. He smiled and looked down at her face. He gave her forehead a light kiss and gave her a light squeeze, and soon he was asleep as well. When Naruto awoke, he felt something holding him. He opened his eyes slowly and looked down. He saw Hinata had moved her arms around him and he was now holding her around her waist. He blushed a little, then looked down at her sleeping face. She had a few hairs in her face, he brushed them out of the way. She really was cute when she slept. He gently put his arm back around her waist, and then fell back asleep. Hinata woke up about 30 minutes after Naruto did the first time. She looked down at her arms and his arms. She blushed a little, but didn't move. She looked at Naruto's face and smiled, he looked so peaceful and at ease when he slept. She laughed slyly, then brushed her hand across his cheek softly. His eyes flickered open slowly and he looked at her. She removed her hand and blushed slightly. Naruto said nothing, but simply smiled softly at her. He brushed the hair from her face again, and gently said, Ohio. Ohio. Hinata said very softly, she lowered her head a bit in embarrassment. Naruto laughed very softly and took a hand and lifted her head. She looked up at him, and he went down and kissed her, so softly and tenderly. She was a little surprised at first and then kissed him softly back. Once they stopped, they relaxed and just laid there. Hinata removed her arms from around Naruto and Naruto did the same, but Hinata stopped him. She turned over, so her back of her head was resting underneath his chin. She placed his arms back around her waist and relaxed. Naruto looked a little surprised, then smiled and rested his head in her hair. Can we stay like this, just for a little longer? She whispered. Naruto nodded. They lay there listening to each other's breath and looking out the window at the dew-covered trees, and listening to the birds chirping. I wish this moment would last forever. Naruto whispered. Hinata nodded. But then we wouldn't be able to find out what other moments could have happened. She replied. Naruto laughed. I suppose you're right, he said. He gave her a light squeeze and she turned her head to look at him. He gave her a light kiss and she returned it. Do you think we should get up? Naruto asked. Hinata laughed and nodded. They both sat up. How about I make some breakfast? She asked. Then she looked at the clock. Maybe lunch would be a better thought, she said. They both laughed and went to get dressed. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.